cool to have as a collector's item, if you can find one. That is one of the best guitar riffs of the 21st century. Maybe ever. I wish I could hug you all, but I'm not going to. Is Alice in Chains one of the big four of grunge? Do they even belong in that conversation? Are they the best? Are they not a grunge band at all? Whatever your opinion may be, the band has definitely left its mark on rock music. And that began with the 1990 three-song EP, We Die Young. It was issued on vinyl and cassette. A promo-only CD was issued, which sells for like $100 on eBay, if you can find one listed. And it was a promising beginning for the band. We Die Young would open the 1990 full-length album, Facelift. Dark, intense album for the most part. Man in the Box became a breakout hit once MTV decided to add it to rotation, which was a few months after the album came out. When the album first came out, it didn't really do all that great. It peaked in like the low 40s or 50s on the chart. But that did help it go gold in 1991. It helped Alice in Chains transition from being a little bit more glam-oriented to being more of a grunge band or a grunge metal band, depending on how you want to categorize that. Facelift, in fact, became the first album of the Seattle grunge wave to go platinum. Sea of Sorrow, in my opinion, kind of set the tone for a lot of what was going to come from this band. I'm glad that song did, and not I Know Something About You. Facelift is a really good Alice in Chains album. It was a harbinger of things to come. But those things to come didn't come just yet because there was another EP, the Sap EP, which all of a sudden took the band in an acoustic grunge direction. Chris Cornell appears on this album. Ann Wilson from Heart is on this album. There's a hidden track called Love Song with Sean Kinney on vocals. Cantrell sings lead on Brother. The 5-track EP was a decent EP. The track Got Me Wrong eventually found its way onto the Clerks soundtrack. Again, this is another good release from the band. But here we go later in 1992. You know where I'm going to put this after I'm done talking about it, right? Dirt was released. Them Bones just, man, you put that on and Them Bones just hits. It just gets right to it. People generally refer to this as Alice in Chains' magnum opus, if you want to use that term. It is their all-time best album, whether it's your personal favorite or not. The songs about addiction really start to show up on this album. Lane Staley, this is all pretty well known. The Beavis and Butthead classic Rooster is on this album. Wood. This was nominated for a Grammy for Best Hard Rock Performance. This album went 4 times platinum in the U.S. Sick Man, Angry Chair. Is it just me, or does Hate to Feel have undeniable Led Zeppelin Dazed and Confused vibes? I don't know. It is a great album. It's a classic no skips album. It's their best album, whether or not it's your personal favorite or not. Moving on. In 1994, the Jar of Flies EP was released. It was the first EP in history to debut at number 1 on the Billboard Top 200 album chart. No Excuses was kind of one of their bigger hits. Probably their catchiest song, or one of their catchiest songs, a great song. It had kind of a groove to it. This album is, again, kind of like Sap, is a little bit more acoustic. Again, loneliness, personal struggles. Lane Staley was a troubled man. That's so sad. Rotten Apple. This solo at the end of that, on the outro of that song, just me, or does that almost have a David Gilmour vibe to it? I Stay Away is quintessential Alice in Chains. Nutshell is a great song. Swing on This. Didn't see it coming. Jar of Flies is also good. In 1995, the self-titled Alice in Chains album was released. It had a 3-legged dog on it, so some people call it the 3-legged dog album. Some people call it Tripod. This was the last full studio album that featured Lane Staley. Believe it or not, there were only 3 full-length Alice in Chains albums with Lane Staley on vocals. Grind, great song. Heaven Beside You, great song. A lot of radio airplay. Sludge Factory, doom and gloom. Frogs reflects the band's inner turmoil at the time. Over Now, man, that's a great song. This album debuted at number 1. It eventually went double platinum. I'm not going to put it on the same tier as Dirt, but I am going to put it on the same tier as Facelift and say that overall, this is probably a better album than Facelift. In 1996, MTV Unplugged, one of the best MTV Unplugged albums ever, if not the best, and overall probably one of the best live albums ever, Unplugged or not. This was one of the final performances with Lane Staley, and was the first time they'd performed in concert for like over 2 years. If you saw it on MTV, or if you have since seen the DVD or VHS, you know Lane Staley was struggling. And in a way, artistically, that's part of what makes this album so good, is that you knew he was giving it his all. It was really a from-the-gut Lane Staley performance. You know, the acoustic versions of Down in a Hole and Rooster are so good. Get the DVD if you can, especially if you're a fan of candles, because Lane Staley bought a lot of candles at Pike Place Market in Seattle for that show. This is a classic album. It is worthy of being on the same tier as Dirt. I wish I could hug you all, but I'm not gonna. 1999, Nothing Safe, Best of the Box. This preceded the Music Bank box set, which would come later in the year. It was sort of a cross-section of, essential hits, early versions of different songs. Get Born Again was a new track that was released on this album, on this compilation. This album did go gold. I'm going to say that it's a really good compilation. No, I'm going to say it's good. Sorry, Nothing Safe fans. Also in 1999, the promotional-only Bank Heist was released. It featured 12 of the 48 songs that would appear on Music Bank. This was just something to get radio stations primed and ready. It didn't really offer you anything different or special. It's cool to have as a collector's item, if you can find one. And then finally, Music Bank, 220 minutes, 3 CDs, 48 tracks, demos, rarities, new material. The track Get Born Again showed up, obviously like you knew it was going to. Also, Died was the other brand new song. It showed up at the end of the album. One of the coolest things about this box set was there was a 36-page booklet. Lots of photos, lots of liner notes, lots of insight into the band. So this is, I'm going to say, really good. It's probably the best Alice in Chains compilation that exists right now. I wouldn't say it's flawless. It maybe leaned a little too hard into the demos, or maybe there could have been a 4th disc. Of course, this was like in 1999 when deluxe versions weren't like deluxe versions and reissues and things like that weren't as deluxe as they tend to be now. So who knows? Maybe there'll be a music box reissue that's 8 vinyl LPs and 6 CDs and a Blu-ray or one of those things. Maybe. I think keep your fingers crossed. Alice in Chains Live was released in 2000. It was a compilation of live performances between 1990 and 1996. There's electric stuff, there's acoustic stuff. Definitely captures the band during its prime. I think it's a pretty good live recording. I don't think it's really pretty good. I'm not sure it's absolutely essential, Alice in Chains, but yeah, you should hear it. In 2001, Alice in Chains Greatest Hits. 10 songs, a whopping 10 songs. Arguably their 10 biggest tracks. 0 deep cuts. The album cover is the coolest thing about Greatest Hits. It is absolutely non-essential. If you're someone building a physical media collection and you're like, well, I guess I got to have some Alice in Chains, and maybe I'll just get this Greatest Hits, I don't like you. A few years later, several years later, in fact, the essential Alice in Chains was released. This is what the Greatest Hits should have been. It's 2 discs. Somehow doesn't have Down in a Hole. I'm not sure how Down in a Hole is not essential. And this doesn't really have much by way of rarities. But the Nona tapes were included as a bonus DVD. I think that was on the 2nd version of the Essential Alice in Chains. And that was the first time that had been available on DVD. If you don't know about the Nona tapes, it's sort of a self-produced Spinal Tap type mockumentary that the band did, basically about itself. This is a pretty good compilation. It's not, I think it could have been more. In 2009, Hope, A New Beginning. The post-Lane Staley era begins. This is the first album with William Duvall on vocals after Lane Staley's tragic overdose death. The title track is a tribute to Lane Staley, features Elton John on piano. You never know, that guy turns up on everybody's record. The first track I heard from this album was a song called Looking in View. You can't confuse, Jerry Cantrell's guitar playing with anybody else, so it's, okay, I thought this is obviously Alice in Chains, but this song, honestly, just did not land for me. But the album was very well anticipated. It reached number 5 on the Billboard 200 album chart. Your Decision, great song. Lesson Learned, When the Sun Rose Again. I thought it was honestly a really good return for the band. And I thought William Duvall didn't try to be Lane Staley, and I think that was good. It also made you realize how much of the band's sound really was Jerry Cantrell. In 2013, The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here. Jerry Cantrell had some shoulder surgery. They were going to work on this album a lot sooner than they did. Nick Raskulinecz produced this album. He produced the previous album. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. This album debuted at number 2 on the top 200 on the album chart. What that tells me is, yeah, a lot of people weren't so sure about this band can't go on post Lane Staley. But if it showed up at number 2 on the album chart, enough people got enough of what they wanted from Black Gives Way to Blue that they're willing to roll with more. And I was certainly one of them. Hollow is a great song. My God, Stone. That is one of the best guitar riffs of the 21st century, maybe ever. Phantom Limb has classic Alice in Chains vibes. The only real criticism I have of this album, I almost want to put it on this really good tier, but I feel like this was a little bit left over from the previous album. I just feel like it was a little too, maybe just a bit safe. Even though, like I said, holy crap, Stone, that could stand head to toe with probably any classic Alice in Chains song, in my opinion. Live Facelift was released in 2016 as a vinyl-only release on Record Store Day. Like I said, in 2016, there have been a couple of different color vinyl variants along the way in limited quantities. No CD, no cassette, no streaming, if I'm not mistaken. This was a physical media version of what had been issued on VHS like in the early 90s. So it is brief. It's like 6 or 8 songs. Very energetic, very raw, recorded at the Moore in Seattle. I mean, you could just tell they were in their element. And Live Facelift is, it's too brief, but it's really good. So there you go. It really looks like I think most everything from Alice in Chains is good, doesn't it? That's because it's true. And finally, in 2018, Rainier Fog was released. It was recorded in Seattle at Studio X, which was where they had recorded their last album with Lane Staley. Nick Raskulinecz produced this one too. It was nominated for a Grammy for Best Rock Album. This album leans a bit more into the original grunge-ish identity of the band while sounding somehow modern, a little more modern at the same time. The one you know is the first single. That's classic. It's a throwback track in a way, just it has that vibe to it. Deaf Ears and Blind Eyes is kind of different. So Far Under is a really nice William Duvall showcase, I thought. Never Fade, my gosh, Never Fade has these weird positive vibes, but it's a song about death, about Chris Cornell, Lane Staley. William Duvall's grandmother had died during the time of the writing of this album. She was 105. And that song, somehow that song is just a major banger that just gets in your head. After the one you know, Never Fade is probably the second best song in the album. So that's my opinion anyway. I'm going to say that this is a little bit better than The Devil Put Dinosaurs here. I'm going to put it on this tier. I try to keep the absolute top tier fairly clear, except where things absolutely belong there. And I think I did that here this time. So this is where we leave off for now. I think I mentioned earlier I'm not doing Jerry Cantrell solo albums or anything regarding William Duvall. So did I get this right? Or am I full of shit? Share with a friend, drop a comment, or go ahead and check out another Tier List Tuesday video, which is on the screen here somewhere. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it. Anyway, thanks for watching.